Let's go over Solo, a Star Wars story, and President of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, the Han Solo movie is just days away from its release date on May 25th. We're finally getting closer to seeing Ron Howard's vision of a Star Wars movie. Now, looking at all of the reactions and the reviews that we have been going over, so far Solo, a Star Wars story is being seen as an average film from the initial reviews of the critics that saw the movie at the world premiere and Cannes Film Festival, etc. But looking at Kathleen Kennedy, who had partial creative control in the Han Solo film, a major scene was cut out of the movie, a big scene reportedly that involved one of the new ships that was supposed to enter into Solo, a Star Wars story, which is of course called the Arrestor Cruiser. So the Arrestor Cruiser, I believe that's how you pronounce it, was supposed to apparently be a ship that would partake in, of course, one of the major space battle scenes, or a major space scene, if you will, in the Han Solo movie, which was ultimately scrapped. Now, Kathleen Kennedy did have a partial decision in all of this, as well as director Ron Howard. And looking at what we learned about a couple of weeks ago, that Kathleen Kennedy, during the transition from firing the original directors to hiring director Ron Howard, two big cameos were indeed lost in the process, and it really does raise a lot of interest as to exactly who those cameos were supposed to be in the Han Solo movie. Could it have been, somebody big, or are they small characters that were cut? We really don't know. As far as the Arrestor Cruiser scene goes, as opposed to having multiple space scenes in Solo, it seems as of right now that we will have one major space scene in the Han Solo film. From what it looks like, it could just very well be the Kessel Run, where they are going through that vortex with the Imperial cruiser chasing the Falcon with a couple of TIEs by its side. Now, the other scene, a big scene that was cut, was, of course, involving that big ship called the Arrestor Cruiser. Now, I believe the design was created by Colin Cantwell, and what's really interesting to me is that if you go on his Instagram account, which makes this all the more valid that this was indeed cut, is, of course, that he said that his ship was cut from the Han Solo movie, indicating, of course, that that space scene is now cut completely. Now, do I have a major problem with this? Not necessarily, because I think that we all knew going into this Han Solo film that we would have less space scenes overall. It's going to be more centered on the ground. This is less of a war story, it's more of a heist movie. So looking at Rogue One, that's a war film with a little bit of a heist element in there with the Death Star plans, but with Solo, a Star Wars story, it's primarily a heist movie, and they wanted to dial down from as many space sequences as possible, one of which included the Arrestor Cruiser. Now, I will add, that design by Colin Cantwell, that was redesigned and, of course, revamped in Solo movie, it honestly looked pretty cool. I would have loved to see this thing on screen. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll try to link it below in the description. It had a real cool design to it, this big satellite dish on top of it. It really does raise a lot of interest for sure as to exactly what role that ship would have had in this movie. Now, looking at the Solo movie, we do know that they're going to leave the ending of the film open-ended, reportedly, from all the reactions that we have been going over and all the reviews. There's an open-ended ending, and this leaves us to believe that, of course, since Alden Ehrenreich is signed on to portray the character of Han Solo 3 more times, it's obvious that there will be Solo sequels coming out in the future in some way, shape, or form. Like I say, I don't believe that there are going to be entire sequels. I think it's just going to be other spin-off films that will include the character of Han Solo portrayed by Alden Ehrenreich thrown into the mix. We also know that Felicity Jones, she's signed on for more movies as well as Jyn Erso, so she could enter into the mix as well, and quite possibly maybe even meet Han Solo. That would be an interesting thing to see on screen. So looking at the Arrestor Cruiser scene, this fact that, that Disney, Lucasfilm, they dropped one of the big space scenes from the movie, how do you feel about that? Does it really change your feelings about this movie at all? For me, it doesn't really have a big impact. We do know that Kathleen Kennedy had a partial decision in all of it, alongside with Ron Howard, so yeah, guys, chime in the comments below, let me know what you think, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.